YouTube, what's going on? So, I really don't know how to start this, but I guess I'll just, I guess I'll just tell it how it is, because I know July has been, you just haven't seen much of me, which, honestly, the break from diecast has been nice. But the last 3 or 4 weeks has been, I've just had stuff going on and haven't been interested in diecast. So, um, I do anticipate it picking back up. I think I'll be more active on the channel here. Although I don't think for right now I'm not going to get back to where it was. I was doing, I don't know, 4 or 5 videos a week. And, for the time being, I'm not going to sustain that. I'm going to reallocate my time a little bit differently. I'm going to budget my time a little bit differently for a couple of reasons. But I'll try to do a video a week, maybe two, depending on, what transpires, what acquisitions come along and whatnot. But I think definitely I'm going to focus some of my energies elsewhere for a while. I know that I owe a few of you packages. A couple of you, I got one I got to send to Ireland. I have one to send to Romania. I've got one to send up to Utah for a diorama. And I apologize for the delay. Most all of it's packed up. I have a little bit more to do, but I haven't forgotten, and I'll get it all done. I've just been super busy with certain things that I've been dealing with. And in addition to that, my family's been out of town, so they just got back. I've had a lot of stuff going on at work and here around the house, so I've just been super busy, and my mind just hasn't been into it. So, but, it doesn't change anything. The last day or two, I've kind of been messing around with it, and, I don't know why diecast is such passion to me. I love cars, and, oh, here I am. So there you go. There's 3 minutes of your life just wasted. But let's look at some diecast. So throughout the course of July, while I haven't been active, I haven't actively gone out and done any, looking and or buying or any of that stuff. However, when I've been at the store and run into stuff, I have picked a few things up. So I was able to find the Gumball 3000 Subaru Impreza from Hot Wheels Entertainment, as well as the super elusive Toy Story unlicensed Toyota pizza delivery truck. Really happy about this one as a Toyota collector. I know it's not a licensed Toyota, but it is clearly modeled after a Toyota. And there is more proof. It's for a Hot Wheels casting. I know it's cartoonish, but it should be because it's from a cartoon. But it is still distinctively recognizable as a Toyota pickup, and it's got a great weathered look with the Pizza Planet deco, rubber tires. It's a metal base. It's a nice little truck, and it's been really hard to find. I only found the one. Scalpers just seem to be going apeshit for this truck. So the fact that I was able to find one, I'm pretty happy about it. Definitely a really cool piece for the oddball Toyota collection, which I have another one that we'll get to. Okay, one other thing too. I did, in the midst of everything, the last 3 or 4 weeks, I did do a video that was, I broke out my entire Tomica limited vintage and limited vintage Neo collection. I got all of them out of the boxes and displayed on the table. Really cool video. The lighting's not that good. The audio's not that good. But I think it's still a pretty decent presentation of a whole bunch of really nice cars. That video will be uploaded here in the next few days. So if you're into that like super high end detailed stuff, be on the lookout. All right, so a couple other cars that I found. I did come across this Fast and Furious set, but of the 6 cars, these are the only 2 that I had any interest in getting. So I left the rest, and I'm not really all that big on either one of these. There's a couple RX-7 releases from the main line that are actually really nice with headlight, taillight detail, and nice civilian deco. But I do like the casting, so I picked this up. The 370Z I'm just really not a fan of. It doesn't look good. To me, there's just something about how disproportionate the size of the wheels are. It just, I don't know. I'm just not a big Hot Wheels fan in general. So that's why you don't see a lot of it on my channel, even though I've got thousands of them. All right, so that's pretty much what I have found. I also show you guys a couple other things that I found. These are available to purchase, by the way, if any of you are interested, or if you weren't able to find these. Found a couple of the Brock Racing Datsun 510s, as well as the elusive Skyline, which is 1 per case. Nice truck too. It's an unlicensed, they call it a Sakura Sprinter. I think it's modeled after like a Hino. And then the Supernova, which I have no interest in, but they seem to sell pretty decent. So I would sell all 4 for $60 shipped if anybody's interested. Shipped in the US. I would ship international for $50 plus actual shipping. So if you're interested, you got to find me on Instagram. I do not sell on YouTube. So just go to Instagram at Heavy Metal 164. It's the same moniker as YouTube. And send me a DM. And if you want to buy them, we can arrange that through a PayPal. Okay. Also, one other find at Walmart. I was kind of surprised to find this. This is a fairly sought after B-body Chevrolet, known as the square body Caprice, which ran, I think, from the late 70s all the way up through, was it 1990 or 91? This one here is 1987. So it's pretty cool, but I think these are going to be less desirable as the green light comes out, which is, just a few months away at this point. Greenlight's going to be doing this as well as the station wagon. I'm really looking forward to the station wagon because as a kid, that's all my parents had was B-body Chevy Caprice station wagons. We had many of them, and then our family grew to the size where we had to get a minivan. All right, so that's the finds. Now, today I come home from work. And it's been an interesting couple of weeks. Just had a lot going on, as I said, and mentally I just haven't been into it. I just haven't been feeling it with the diecast. And I come home today, check the mail, and I've got a package. It's one of the perks of having a YouTube channel with a fair amount of subscribers. I know it's a small channel, but if you're lucky enough like I was to build up a few thousand followers, you make good friends, good connections, and from time to time you come home and you find something cool in your mailbox. And that's what happened today. Now, some of these are trades, so I can't tell you I wasn't expecting some of them. I didn't know when he was going to send them, because usually with this guy, I'll keep a box going for him, he'll keep a box going for me, and then at some random point in time we will ship. Well, I got mine today. He's one of the people I have to ship to. I have a box. It's probably like a 14-inch squared box that I need to send him, and I don't know. He buys so much from me. I don't even know if I could get all of his stuff in that box. But anyways, you guys probably know who he is. He's Tabake on Instagram. So I'll go through here and show you, because I was only expecting a couple of these, and there's a whole bunch of killer extras. So the trade portion of it, I have this Kyosho Toyota FJ. This is hands down the nicest FJ in 1:64 scale. There's not even a close second. The only other brands that I know of that have done it is Majorette and Tomica. Tomica did it in their basic line, which I have. It's not great. But the Kyosho is really nice because it's true scale. It's got great sculpted detail. The quality of the paint is good. You get transparent lensed headlight inserts with translucent taillight inserts. You get the rubber tires with tread. And it's a nice casting. Now, I got this one probably 3 or 4 years ago. I think I just got it on eBay, but as it turns out, these days the orange one is pretty tough to find. And Tabake, his name's Eric, so I'll call him Eric, but he was interested in this, and he's hooked me up with a lot of stuff. So I just did a straight across trade for another color, which I traded it for the yellow. Not a huge fan of yellow cars, but in this case, I actually like the yellow better. I just think it brings out the lines and the detail better. The yellow one is a lot easier to find, and it's typically less expensive when you find it. But, for me, I'm happy with the trade, so it's not a big deal. I think in person, I think the orange one probably does look better. But on camera, the yellow one definitely shows up a lot better. All the detail is the same. I think that my next car is going to be an FJ. I really want one. I've wanted one for a long time. My last car was a 4Runner. And then when I moved here in 2015, I bought a used Cadillac, which I loved, but it was just a cheap car to tie me over. And then I bought the Lexus, which I love. I love the Lexus, but it's got a ton of miles on it, and I think its days are limited. And I think if I can get another year out of it, I think I'll be doing really good. But when I bought it, I didn't think I'd have it for more than a couple years, and I've already had it 3. So it's the thing with Toyota; they run forever. I mean, I'm approaching 300,000 miles on the Lexus. My 4Runner, I bought from the original owner at 129,000, and I sold it at like 235,000, and it's a great truck. So I'm a huge fan of Toyotas, and generally speaking, Toyotas, from a styling standpoint, they're not, the Nissans and the Hondas, I think, in general, look better. But when you're talking about trucks, Nissan and Honda they're not on par with Toyota. The Tacoma, the Tundra, the 4Runner, the FJ, the Land Cruiser, all of them are far superior to the Nissan and Honda counterparts. But as far as the cars go, though, I would probably take a Honda or a Nissan. Although the new Camrys, I saw one the other day, it looked pretty killer. Anyways, so that's that. Geez, I'm just sitting here rambling. Okay, so that was the trade part. Also, as part of the trade, he sent me this, which is a car that I used to have. And I traded it for a very rare Tomica first gen Toyota MR2. And I made that trade because that MR2 is impossible to find. It's not a car you can just go to eBay and buy it. it's one of those cars you have to watch eBay, and you might get lucky and it might show up on eBay once a year. This thing, you can go onto eBay right now and you can purchase it. But it's not always going to be the case. Eventually they're going to sell out. It's pretty limited production. And so I think eventually this will be a good car to own, because there aren't very many of these Supras in this scale from a premium detailed standpoint. And this is a Tarmac Works. And it is part of the Paul Walker Reach Out Worldwide Foundation. Some of the proceeds go to help raise money for his charity. Really cool little car. So Tamiya does Supra and Aoshima. I actually have an Aoshima here. It's got a body kit on it. And this one has some paint imperfections because I detampoed. It had a bunch of Japanese anime graphics on it. And I just wanted a cleaner look. And I accomplished that, but it did cost me some paint. I still think it looks better like this. What really did get screwed up, though, is the tail light. You can see where some of the acetone leaked onto the right tail light lens, and it's all cloudy. But I think I'll just do the same thing to the left side, and I honestly don't think it'll look all that bad. But this is to the point now, because of its condition, that it's part of the oddball Toyota collection. It's not part of the premium. But in general, you know, I think it's a nice casting, Aoshima. But definitely the Tarmac is better. So there's that. And then the other part of the trade was, where did it go? Oh, here we go. This, which is the new Inno64 Toyota AE86 Corolla Levin. I really dig these little hatchbacks. I would totally drive one of these. Really cool car. Trying to think of all the brands that have done this car. I know Tomica's done it with the premium. I think they did it. Yeah, they did it with the basic. They did the initial D, the Tofu Panda. Kyosho's obviously done it. I know Aoshima's done it. I'd love to see TLV do it, but check out the detail. Sorry for the camera here. Just great detail. Really nice replica. And then, let's look at the seats real quick. You've got the 5-point harness, racing seats. That's something that you don't get on the Kyosho. The wheels that come on it, the stock wheels, are actually these. I took them off of the Levin and put them on, well, this is a Levin too, actually. It's just an older body style. And this is Konami. This is Inno64. So the cool thing about this car is that it comes with the extra wheels that have the chrome lip, and they look much better. I have a couple other, this came out in a couple racing decos. It came out with an Advan livery, and I forget the name of the other one. But neither of those come with extra wheels. This one did. So I wanted the chrome lip wheels on this car, and then I took the black spoke wheels and put them on this, and then now I have these wheels that I can use for something else. These have the red letter Yokohama tires, but they're slicks. I don't know. I'll find something for them. Anyways, so there's that. I really dig this car. Let's take a look at the back, because the back end detail, it really smashes the Kyosho, which I'm really not all that surprised by. So you've got a really nice exhaust tip coming out. And I say really nice, I know it's just a small detail, but when you look at the Kyosho, I don't even think the tip on the Kyosho is hollowed out. And then the taillights, you have multiple colors with the amber indicators. You've got the white reverse lights, and then you've got the red brake lights. And then you've got the composite plastic spoiler with the rear wiper. And as you get with most NO64 cars, you get rear defrost, which is a really cool feature that you don't see very often in 1 to 64. Johnny Lightning does it on a few cars. There are a few brands that do it on a few cars, but it's not something that you see very often. I don't know if Kyosho even does it, honestly. But just to give you a comparison, here is the same car. Well, it's not the same car, but it's pretty close. So here's the Kyosho. It is a different body style. And actually, it is a different car, because this is the Levin and this is the Trueno. I think it's a Trueno. Yeah. And so the big difference, I mean, they are the same general body style, but you can see the Trueno has the flip-up headlights, and the Levin doesn't. But when you look at the Kyosho and then you look at the NO64, to me, there is no comparison. I think that this one looks way better. Now, granted, this is a great rolling car, but it also has a stock ride height. This is a static display. The wheels do not roll, but I don't play with my cars, so it looks great on display. Both of them look really good, though. I also have well, here's a Kyosho Levin. It's just a different color. This is an older Kyosho Toyota release. Pretty hard to find and can be pretty expensive. With static grass on the hood. And I like this one, mainly because of the silver wheels. I just think that makes a big difference. I'm not a big fan of black wheels on cars this size, because they just, as you can see, they just create a big void of nothing, and it just sucks away all of the detail. But when you have the silver wheels, it kind of pulls out a lot of the detail, because if they were black, having a black rocker panel, it would just be like this, where it's just a shadow. But you can see it's the same general body style. I'm pretty sure that they're actually the same casting or same tooling. They just do something different with the front end. Actually, no, they've got to be different, because the hood, you have the headlights here. So, yeah, maybe they are different toolings. I don't know. But I think even out of these three, I think the NO64 looks the best. So, anyway, so that was a cool surprise. I need to get the NO64 Toyota Soarer that just came out, and I think the Toy Pimp has one set aside for me. So I'll be heading over. I'm going to try to get over there this weekend. I got a lot to do though. Okay, so he sent me a couple of extras. So here's one of the extras. It's a Wellies, which is not commercially available in the U.S. None of this stuff is. This is more of an intermediate brand, and I think it's a European brand. So, where all this other stuff comes out of Japan, this one originates Welly. I think it might be I think it might be the UK, but I'm not positive. It doesn't really matter because they're all made in China. But this is pretty cool. I don't know if this is a licensed police livery, but it's a pretty cool Toyota Corolla casting that I don't have. And it's a great little fit for the oddball Toyota collection. It's just painted headlight and taillight detail, but it does have the lensed light bar, which, you know, this, I mean, don't get me wrong, this is definitely a toy. It's not a model replica, but that's okay. It's still pretty cool. And kind of interesting, it has plastic tires, but they are treaded. Kind of interesting. So that's cool. That was a freebie. And then two others, extras that he threw in. Check this out. This is a Kyosho Toyota Hiace van. Now, when he sent it to me, or I guess that would actually be the driver's side mirror, since these are all right-hand drive. This mirror was broken off. And so you can see where I used some silicone to reattach it. I can go in once that cures, which will take probably a day or two, and I can just go in with a blade and clean that up a little bit. But I just don't understand. I know there are a lot of van enthusiasts out there, people like Champion DJK. I don't know how you could be a van collector and not have one of these in your collection. This is one of the coolest Kyosho castings. It's ugly as sin, but it's just so unique. It's easily one of my favorite vans that I have now. Very, very cool. If I had a big family, I think I would import one of these. I think I would try to. I know that with the laws it's tough, but of course if it's 25 years old, then you can do it without an issue. Great detail though. You got all the Toyota badging, you've got the lens, headlights, and taillights, you've got the side view mirrors, prototypical wheels, rubber tires with tread, privacy glass windows. Great sculpted detail on the casting. Probably wouldn't be my first color choice, but it's not terrible. It's a great rolling van. I really dig the headlights on it too. Real cool looking. See, the cool thing about reattaching side view mirrors with silicone, I've done it. I did it on an Escalade that I have and a couple others, is that the silicone gives it flex. Like this side over here is rigid. So if you bump it right, it's going to pop right off. But when you reattach it with silicone, it almost turns it into a breakaway. Like that mirror on the Escalade, I've bumped that thing so many times and it just goes right back into position. It's pretty sweet. So that's pretty awesome van right there. And this last car came... Okay, I didn't even know that this existed. It's a brand of car that you just don't see in 1:64 scale. From a premium detail standpoint, I don't think any brand makes them. I know Kyosho does not. I know that I know TLV does not. I don't think any other brands do. So let's take a look. I opened the box and saw this. I've never seen these. I didn't know that they even existed. So when I saw this box, I was very curious, and as it turns out, the box is probably the coolest packaging I've seen on a 1:64 scale car. It's a really thick cardboard, almost like it almost has like a leather, like a real nice watch box type of a feel. And then the front flap is locked down with a magnet. Maybe if I can open it here. And then it's just the acrylic, but the front flips open like so. Very cool. And as you can see, it's an Infiniti QX60. I'm assuming that this is probably a dealership promotional car. It's made by Pouty. So as far as the finish goes, it actually looks pretty similar to the Escalade. And it might, for all I know, it might be the same brand. It could also be the same brand that does the Mazda. What is it called? Oversteer. That's what this reminds me of, more than anything else, is an oversteer. And for my money, I think oversteer makes the nicest 1/64 scale cars when you're factoring in like detail and build quality, fit and finish, all of those things. I think oversteer is much nicer than Kyosho and Tomica Limited Vintage. The problem is they only have a dozen, maybe 2 dozen castings. But this QX60 is sick. I mean, it's totally sick. It's exactly the type of thing that I love to collect. It's very heavy. Just picking that up, it's like super heavy. I'm actually kind of thinking that that's a metal base. You can see the Pouty stamp there. Yeah, that's a metal base. That's why it's so heavy. It has prototypical wheels with rubber tires, lens, headlights, and tail lights. All the trim detail is done, and it's done nice. And then you've got the sunroof. I mean, it's just a really cool SUV. The wheels look sick. Not a huge Nissan person with modern cars. There's no doubt about it that me personally, I would much rather drive one of these, and I would probably guess that they're in the same price range. I think the Land Cruiser is about an $80,000, maybe $85,000 truck. So the Nissan is probably right up there, or the Infiniti rather. It might be a little bit less. But I'm just a big fan of big four-wheel drive SUVs, or all-wheel drive, whichever you want to. I think these are all mostly all-wheel drive nowadays, except the Land Cruiser. I think they've actually kept the Land Cruiser pretty true to the four-wheel drive with the locking rear differential. That locking rear diff has always been something that Toyota seems to put an emphasis on. I love this thing. So I have this in a charcoal color that I'm sending to diecast. He's one of the people that I've got a box. His is actually closed up. I need to just take it over to the post office. But yeah, he traded me the silver one straight across because I prefer silver. But it's just a really cool casting. This is one of those cars that even if I were to stop collecting and sold everything off, this one here would stay with me. But I like this because it just kind of fits in with that. I wish I had my Escalade out. Be a nice little trio. So that wraps up the video. Some really cool stuff in the mailbox when, when you're going through life and, things are kind of not going so good. And then all of a sudden you come home and you find some awesome stuff in your mailbox. It's always a good day. And then, Eric, this will be... I do have the bubble for this. I don't know if you knew that or not, but unlike this, which came in an acrylic, this one came in a bubble and a box. I don't have the box, but I do have the bubble, so it'll ship in the bubble. And then this thing here, so happy to have this. Really looking forward to getting the Soarer, because I think they will look really good next to each other. And there you go. You can tell I'm a fan of Toyota. Also have the 100 Little Cars Customs back here. The Hitchcock Bruiser. And the shop truck. And for those of you Colorado natives, Aspen Police Department. Jeez, I can't believe this took 40 minutes. All right, everybody. Thanks for watching. Once again, I apologize for the lack of activity, but we'll get back at it. I will be more active, at least a video a week. So go ahead, and I know there's a handful of you that are dying to hit the thumbs down. Don't forget to do that before you run back downstairs to your mom's basement. Everybody else, leave your thoughts, comments below. Give it a thumbs up. And I'll holler at you all at the next diecast video.